Michael, obviously a very weird build-up for this one, but I'll get the perfunctory out the way. Just health and fitness-wise, I can imagine everyone's pretty good after an extended break, but is that the case?
We have a couple of outs, to be honest.
Oh,
Yes, so we have Laura Hughes, who's out injured. She hurt her knee, which she needed to undergo surgery as well, just minor. So she'll be around 4 to 6 weeks. And Briley Henry's still recovering from a back injury, which she's in full team training now. So she's getting very, very close. Maybe in the next, I don't know about Perth, but maybe in the new year, Sydney is looking maybe likely. Caitlin Carrick is still recovering from a knee injury, so she's unavailable. And also Shelby McMahon has had a little bit of a knock to her knee, so she's looking like she'll miss the game against Victory, but potentially Perth or Sydney in the next week or 10 days she should be available.
just on Laura, I think the last time we chatted, she hadn't had surgery. I think you were talking about maybe hoping to get her back. So why does she need the surgery? And what does that involve?
There was a little bit of cartilage that got ripped off, so they needed to take it out, basically. So it was just a keyhole surgery, in and out. She's already walking around. She's telling me that she wants to start running already. So she's hopefully a fast recoverer. But no, she'll do all the rehab. And yeah, normally those things are anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks.
And just looking at this game, Michael, obviously you were supposed to play Adelaide last week, and then that game gets postponed for influenza. We're in this weird situation. We're playing a derby. Victory's played 8 games this season. You've played 4. Just how weird has this season been for you thus far?
Look, I wouldn't say weird because obviously there's buys, so every team has, everyone has 6, 7 or 8 games. So it's one of those things you can't look at the ladder. That's one of the things. I think now Perth even jumped us, so maybe we're 8th. But we win 3 or 4 of our games in hand and we go back top. But we can't focus on that. It's out of our control. Obviously, we had the Champions League campaign as well, which we missed a couple of games. Unfortunately, we did see Adelaide when they were leaving Melbourne against Melbourne Victory, and we were arriving back from Canberra. I saw about 8 or 9 of the Adelaide players with masks on. So I was actually thinking, okay, maybe there's a few players that are sick. That'll be great because 3 days' time we play them. And then obviously they went with 15 players sick and the game got postponed. But I was hoping we would play with some, maybe some of their key players missing, but it wasn't to be. And I think we're looking to play that game in a few months' time down the road. But answer to your question, yes, it is a little bit unusual, but we haven't really been able to get into our rhythm of the season. That's probably been the one thing, just the flow of league games. But it's a big match, and what we have been able to do over the last 8 or 9 days is put a lot of load in conditioning sessions. So we've worked the girls extremely hard, and we're very prepared for this match.
You touched on it there, Michael, but that lack of rhythm that you've been able to build up this season, start the season, going away to Asia, coming back, not playing week in and week out, because based on the incredibly high standards you set last season, you haven't maybe been able to hit them yet. Defeat against Canberra in your last time out. Stotty, post-game interview, was very honest about how you didn't deserve something from that game as well. Do you think that that lack of rhythm is what's behind you not really keying in and hitting those same levels you did last season?
No, I don't think so. I think every game we've been prepared for. So I think the Wellington match, I think the way they set up, I don't think it surprised us, but I think we struggled to break them down. And I think they were very good on the transition. I think that game in particular, we definitely didn't deserve to win. or even draw. They hit the woodwork 3 times, and they were the better side. Even though we had 62, 63% possession, we didn't do anything with it. We barely created many chances, and we sort of got away with that one. Then against Canberra, they play a very, very similar system and person-on-person pressing, very aggressive, and looking to attack very quickly. And we got caught out a little bit. I didn't hear that interview with Stotty, but I'd probably, if she said that about Canberra, I'd probably disagree a little bit. I think we were the better side in that day. I think they had a 20-minute period in the second half, which they caught us 3 times, and 2 of them they scored. But I think the first half we were in full control, hit the post twice ourselves. And then the last 20, 25 minutes in that match, we were all over them. I think they were hanging on. So they had a few transitions because we were opening up and really attacking, but I think we were quite unlucky not to get a point out of that match at very least. So in terms of last season compared to this season, obviously last season we started with 2 wins, 2 draws. This year we've started with 2 wins, a draw and a loss. So, and I wouldn't say our performances last year were that convincing early either, but I would say, answering your question, there's a couple of things we definitely need to improve on, but overall, I actually think in a tactical way and how we break down deep blocks and how we find free players and 3 or 4 certain contexts, I think we're ahead of where we were last season.
Yeah, just a quick one from me. So obviously a big derby doubleheader, you're at Amy Park. So how much of a difference does that atmosphere make? And the obviously the City fans, but also having, so many Victory home fans as well. So just that overall atmosphere, how much of a difference do you think that will make to the performance?
I think when we play at Amy Park, it's got a different aura about it. Obviously, when you walk into the stadium and when you walk onto the pitch and you see the arena that we play in, the pitch is a little bit bigger. Well, it's a fair bit bigger, to be honest, than what we play here at Casey Fields. So, and a team like us that we like to dominate the ball and move the ball around to open up gaps in the opposition, it's actually easier because it's harder for the opposition to close the spaces and cover the distance of the ground is a lot harder. So we tend to find a few more gaps than what we do when we play home here at Casey. So yeah, it'll be great because a lot of the new players haven't played there yet. So, there was a handful of girls watching the game, the derby with the men the other night. And, a few of the comments, can't wait to get onto this pitch. So, yeah, we look forward to it.
Just, Michael, on the mindset of the girls, obviously they're having to do something they haven't had to do for almost 2 years at this point, bounce back from a regular season defeat. Just what have you seen on the training track from them after that Canberra defeat? Was it a case of, they were angry and they want to make amends? Have you seen immediate improvement?
Look, we have the mentality here is always to improve. So whether we win, draw, or in this case we lost, and we lost a couple of games last season as well, especially the Central Coast one. The bounce back is always, what do we need to do to get better? How can I improve? Players showing me clips, I'm showing them clips, and we're just all about making the improvements because, as I mentioned before, Wellington and Central Coast, Wellington and Canberra played very similar. Person-on-person pressing. I think we came up against that maybe once or twice last season. So to have that back-to-back just showed me, okay, we need a little bit more work when a team does do that against that to make sure that we have the clear idea on exactly the spaces to attack and how to adapt to that type of pressure, because normally teams will maybe press with a -1 or sit off a little bit more. So that definitely showed that we need to improve if a team does that again, which this week has given us the opportunity to work on those things a little bit more. I don't think Melbourne Victory will do that because they play their own unique way, but we've definitely improved in those concepts. So if a team does want to do that against us again, then we'll be more prepared for it.
And just on Melbourne Victory, they've been very inconsistent this season, but 2 wins on the bounce for them now. Good win against the Jets on the weekend. What are you expecting from them?
Look, they're a very good side. We saw that last season. I think you're right. They have a little bit inconsistent this season so far. But even the games that they've dropped points in, I think they were quite dominant and they were doing very well. And you can see they've added some really good quality players and they're doing some different movement patterns as well, especially with their 2 number 10s. They have very good license to rotate and very smart. Obviously, we had Minnie here with us, and I know she's a top player and very clever player. So she'll be trying to move our players around and create gaps for herself or her teammates. So, yeah, we've prepared for that. We've done a lot of work, and we've got one more session to go today before tomorrow.